You know the expression, there's no such thing as a small part. I mean, there are small parts in films, and we know that. And we want bigger and bigger parts in films. Don't be afraid. Yes, I'm looking right at you people. Don't be afraid to take a smaller role in a project that's got good people attached to it.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Talent Agent Talk, where we are bringing you educational lessons and real life stories behind the scenes of film and TV. I'm your host and talent agent, Jason Lockhart, and today we have a really interesting guest. His name is Don Stallings. Hey, Don.
Hey, how you doing?
It's so great to see you after just spending a week on a cruise with
I know,
you.
we get to hang out and kind of see each other on
Kinda,
a cruise
yeah.
ship occasionally.
We just did a cruise together and, AWP at sea and got to hang with a lot of really, really positive actors and parents of actors.
That was such a good group.
It really was.
Everybody was really invested, in the time and just, God, sponges, just soaking up stuff.
I loved what you said at the end when we went around the room and kind of like all talked about what our favorite
Oh my God, what did
elements
what
were.
did I say?
You talked about seeing the discoveries in so many people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, I never thought about it like that before, but it is like when you're teaching and you see it's being received well or
Yeah,
received well.
you see the light bulb go off and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that just clicked with you. That's so good for you as an actor that you understood that concept and you're taking it in.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
And you probably,
watch.
you saw it more than I did all week long.
Yeah, working with scenes with them, I would see them go, oh, that's something that Jason talked about or something that Mark talked about. I can now incorporate that into the work I'm doing here. So, yeah,
I love
really
that.
cool.
And then because you're an actor also, did you pick up anything during the week that you were like, I'm going to use this myself?
Oh, yeah. So many
Really?
different little things. I mean, when you were talking about, what is your superpower? I was like, what is mine? I didn't get to be in that class, but it made me think, what is my superpower?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a lot, actually, that you could
do.
tap into.
I have weird superpowers.
Well, let's get into a role. So, like, what's one of your favorite roles and experiences that you've had as an actor?
One of my favorites was it was a show called Stand Against Evil, which was shooting in town. And this was the pilot episode. And I got cast as the town crazy, that's my target right there. When people look for roles for me, they look crazy, creepy. Yeah, that's what they go for. And it was a 26-page script. I was in 22 of the 26 pages. So it was pretty beefy little thing. And after the first take of the first scene, the executive producer, Dana Gould, of The Simpsons, came over and said, oh my God, that was perfect. That was exactly the tone I want for the entire show. You two can do whatever you want. And he just gave me freedom as an actor to improvise and to have fun and to play with the part. He said, do the script, but then do whatever. And that was a gift. And that was like that trust that he had in me that I would do his character justice in that. And he let me do whatever I want. I asked for peanut butter to eat in a scene with my fingers. And he was like, I love that. Yes, yes. Get him peanut butter. What do you want, crunchy or smooth? Crunchy. It's grosser. Let's do that. So that was a fun one. Yeah.
Very cool. How many episodes?
It was just one episode.
It was just the pilot.
Just one episode. And I got co-star credit instead of guest star.
When was this?
I was a little bitter about that. That was like 6 years ago.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
It has evolved. I feel like this market has continuously,
It's
in
doing
Atlanta,
better.
has continuously evolved, and we're
Yeah.
getting better with the credits.
We are. And I didn't care. I just enjoyed doing the role.
Well, yeah, because when we watch it back as the audience, it's going to be just as funny regardless of the credit.
Yeah.
But the credit should be there when it's really deserved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what about like another role that you might have had where you remember like the audition being something that you were really excited about and then you booked it and it went to set?
That would be Where the Crawdads Sing, which was a beautiful film and an amazing book. And when I saw the breakdown and I knew there was a book, I read the book and I fell in love with this character. It is the father of the lead male. It's Tate's dad, Scupper, is the character. And he is a poetry reading, opera singing shrimp boat captain in early 60s. So
That's so you.
really very me, and also just an oddball character in this town who's raising his son by himself and just loves him dearly. He's just a sweet, nice man. And like I said, I usually get to be creepy. And so I really wanted this part. So I learned the opera before I had the audition because I'm supposed to be singing along. And I ended up auditioning with one of my wife's students playing the role of my son opposite me. And that was great. And it felt good. It felt, I did the audition. And I was like, okay, that was solid. I feel good about that. And then I walked away from it as you try to do. And then 2 weeks later, I got the call that I booked it. And I was like, oh my God, I get to be a nice guy. I get to be a nice, loving, doting father and just love on this kid. And so booking it was great. And when I got there, I managed to have lunch with the character, with John. Oh my gosh, John Taylor Smith. I'm trying to think of his name. I should have looked it up before I came in. And we had lunch at this little place in New Orleans. And he walked in and we looked at each other and we both started for the handshake and then we both went, nah. And we hugged in the middle of this restaurant the first time we met. And we sat down and talked for a couple hours and walked around New Orleans, hit Louis Armstrong Park, and just talked about life and acting and, what our dreams were and what our goals were. And he was easy to fall in love with. So when we got to set, I told him, I said, my job's easy. All I have to do is love you, and you are a super lovable kid. So you have all the hard work. I just have to love you. And it was a great experience on set.
I bet he loved hearing that too.
Yeah.
It's interesting because knowing you too, like I can see creatively how you could be the go-to for like the crazy guy or the pirate or the sailor, and the bum or something like that, which is exciting. Like for your agent and any agent to see such specific roles and be like, oh, could get this guy in tons of auditions,
Yeah.
But from knowing you for years now and spending quality time with you, I know how warm you are and how loving, the energy, the softness that you give to everyone around you. And it's so welcoming. So to know that you got to tap into that,
Yeah.
it had to feel so good and be so easy because that's probably your superpower.
Yeah. It's I tell my students all the time, it's you need to love your scene partner. In some way, shape, or form or another, there's love. Either you love hating them or you love loving them. That the more you can lean into love in a scene, and even if there's a friend, if you have a scene with a friend, and I don't see that you're loving that friend, I don't buy it because we love our friends. So if you're playing opposite somebody, you got to love them.
Yeah. It's interesting you said that too, because I had a very long conversation with a good friend the other day, and he was kind of talking about somebody he didn't like, and then I started saying some great qualities about that person.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, you always do that. I'm like, what do I do? He goes, you always look for the good in people. I was like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
He didn't have anything else to say. It's like, nothing. I like that about you. And I would say that that's probably a really great way also when you get to set, instead of thinking about what you got to do, what you got to accomplish, if you actually look around and be like, what do I like about this person? What do I like about this person?
Yeah.
It's going to put you in a selfless state, and then the art will just unravel.
Yeah.
As long as you're prepared with what you have to do.
As long as you know,
Yeah,
you know the
lines
words and stuff.
Yeah, you got to pay
I'm
attention.
just gonna stare at you and love you. The whole scene. Thank you.
Let's fire this guy.
Oh my
we
God.
need somebody here who can act too.
We need somebody who knows how to say words.
Yeah,
That would be really nice.
it would be great. So would you say? Yeah, I mean, I know you have so many lessons from just years of being successful in so many realms within this industry, but
Yeah.
is there any one in particular one that you really feel our audiences could benefit from, or something that you've seen repetitively that you're like, that is a gem for an actor?
The expression, there's no such thing as a small part. I mean, there are small parts in films, and we know that. And we want bigger and bigger parts in films. Don't be afraid. Yes, I'm looking right at you people. Don't be afraid to take a smaller role in a project that's got good people attached to it. I did a teeny tiny role in The Highwaymen from Netflix with Woody Harrelson, Kevin Costner. Did I do a scene with him? No. Did I spend 3 weeks in Louisiana and make a lot of money for saying 2 words? yeah, I made $15,000, you know, off the bat to say, oh, damn.
Wow.
And it took 3 weeks to shoot that just because of weather and different things. And so I was there for, it made a good amount of money, and I'm in that project, and I'm still getting residuals. And on that project, I got an audition call from my agent. They said, we have wanted you to audition for a pilot. The character is Crazy Bill. I was like, oh, God. Okay, what does Crazy Bill do? Oh, Crazy Bill is in like 5 different scenes. Awesome, great. He has 2 lines. Okay, where are we going?
How do you know how crazy he is with 2 lines?
Well, he says, I have seen Bigfoot.
Okay.
And he says, I have seen Bigfoot twice. It's the same line 2 times. And I went up to Charleston to shoot it. They put me up on King Street in a beautiful hotel suite with a kitchenette. And I was there for 5 weeks working on that project. And the time came for the second version of my line. And I had done my work as an actor, and I had made like choices specifically about what was going on with this character. There was no backstory. So I gave him a backstory in my mind.
Had he seen Bigfoot in your backstory?
He had not actually seen Bigfoot,
Oh.
but he had seen something similar in his adult state. And the second time I did the line, I got off set after doing it, and the executive producer, Don Todd, called me over, and he just looked at me and he said, I did not see that coming. And he was like choked up. And he's like, I really felt for that guy, that he was lost. And I'm sorry we're killing you. Because my character dies. And I'm like, wait, well, I'm glad you're sorry that you're killing me. You could rewrite that because you wrote it. But just that I was able to affect him with I've seen Bigfoot and do something that he wasn't expecting that choked him up. He was like,
Now I got to see this.
It never came out.
Oh.
That's okay.
But that doesn't matter because the lesson's the same.
Yeah.
You know?
And it was a small thing, but I made an impression on the executive producer, which will pay off.
You
at
never
some
know what
point.
they're going to be executive producing in
Right.
2025
You
that
don't
has a
know.
lead role. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
From my seat, we see that exciting shit happen all the time.
Yeah. And it's great. Your job is to do a good job when you have the opportunity, no matter how big or how small the part is.
Yeah.
That's your job. It's all our jobs.
I love that, Don. Well, I do want to know, looking forward, what's a dream role that you might have?
Dream role. I'd love to be in a Western.
Oh, cool.
Western or pirate. We'll keep going back to pirate. If I could have been in Pirates of the Caribbean as any fun, just rascally character, or even, rascally bad guy in a Western.
You'd be
It'd
such a
great.
good Smee as
Ooh,
well, like in
yeah.
some iteration of a Peter Pan story.
Yeah.
Peter Pan, the horror film.
And I'll just say, I've seen Bigfoot.
There it is again, the third time.
Write my check for that. But that would be fun,
I see that happening for you. Probably both. Probably the Western and the
I'll
pirate.
take that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think your prime is now.
I want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I'm having fun doing it.
It's great. And I feel like all your success touches a lot of lives, which is really cool too.
Oh, thank you.
There's a lot of people that are probably looking up to you and rooting for you. And so whenever you do anything exciting, I think there's just a lot of people like celebrating.
No, I appreciate that.
And that's great.
Now, was it a screening of Crawdads, and at the end of it, I heard somebody yell out, I know him! When my name popped up, and I'm like, I'm in the theater. Gosh, this is weird. But they were excited.
Yeah.
I'm
As
like,
well they
"Oh,
should be.
That's sweet.
You've affected a lot of people with AWP. It's great.
you.
AWP is a great organization. Highly recommend.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And I do have a gift for you for
Oh, you
being
have a
here.
gift?
I do. You win a free car. If you've seen the show. So if you'd like to,
Super
there's a
excited.
lot in here today.
Okay.
If you'd like to reach in,
Oh my gosh.
see what you're going to get. I've got some hopes for you.
This feels good. Feeling good about this.
What'd you get?
Oh, yeah. The Hummer.
The Humvee.
The Humvee.
That's
It's
a funny fit.
it is. I have a joke in my stand-up that we talk about Humvees, and it's like, if you're going to spend $125,000 for a vehicle that will drive in the desert and over IEDs, and you slow down to 2 miles an hour to go over a speed bump, you are wasting your investment in that vehicle. You are not using it to its full potential. So this baby's going to go over some speed bumps. Like fast.
Take that thing everywhere you go. That's
Ramps.
That's. I hope that makes your life better.
How
As
could
you
it not?
cruise over ramps? Well, thank you again for being here. It means the
Thank
world
you.
to me. You know, you and your whole family and your organization are very, hold a very special place in my heart, and I hope that many more actors cross your path as well.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, man.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for watching. We really appreciate your time. And if you would like to be a guest on this show because you have an exciting booking story or an educational lesson, feel free to pitch it directly to us. The email is talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Again, that's talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Thank you to Jesse Malinowski and Get Seen for producing our show. Thank you again, Don, for being here.
Thank you.
And I hope something great happens to all of you today.
Yes.